God bless you, Cumberland County, and welcome back to the Boiling Point, where we cut through the noise and defend the principles that built the greatest nation on earth. I am your host, Mariana, and today we're talking about something critical heading into the new election season. Why every American should firmly reject socialist candidates running for office at any level. Socialism isn't a trendy label or a compassionate upgrade to our system. It's a proven failure that threatens our freedoms, our prosperity, and our future, and the future of our children and grandchildren and great grandchildren, because we have to keep that in perspective, folks. America was founded on Christianity, individual liberty, free enterprise, and limited government. Socialism flips that script, concentrating power in the hands of bureaucrats and politicians who promise utopia but deliver stagnation and control. We cannot afford to have socialism experimented in our great country. Now, why am I speaking about this? And the reason I'm speaking about this is because a lot of people are embracing socialism. And the schools of the West Shore School District are teaching socialism to our children. They're teaching them to embrace socialism, okay, reject capitalism, reject the founding fathers, and reject everything that has made our country great, beginning with God and the Constitution of this country. So, we're going to talk about some key dangers of socialism as form of government, just to bring some clarity. So, with socialism, you will have economic collapse and shortages. Socialism central planning destroys incentive to produce. History shows repeated failures. Look at the empty shells in Venezuela, the bread lines in Cuba, the bread lines in the Soviet Union. When government controls production and distribution, innovation stalls, and everyone except the ruling elite suffers. With socialism, you have loss of individual freedoms. Socialism requires massive government intrusion into personal lives. Free speech gets curtailed when it criticizes the regime. Aren't we seeing that here in America already? That they're trying to take away free speech and they're labeling as hate speech? Property rights erodes as the state decides what you can own or keep. Doesn't that sound like Agenda 2030? Your choices on healthcare, education, and careers become subject to bureaucratic approval. With socialism, you have crushing taxes and debt. To fund endless programs, socialists raise taxes on workers and businesses. This kills jobs, drives talent away, and balloons national debt. Future generations inherit the bill while productivity plummets. And listen, to talk about crushing taxes, look here at Cumberland County. Have you seen your taxes lately, your property taxes? And a big chunk of it is due to the West Shore School District because of the debt that they're in, but yet they keep spending like pigs. With socialism, government overreach, you have government overreach and corruption. So the power concentrates on the top. Without market competition and accountability, corruption thrives. Cronyism replaces merits, and equality becomes a quality of misery. Aren't we seeing this in the United States already? With socialism, suppression of dissent and authoritarianism. Socialist systems historically silence opposition through media control, cancel culture on steroids, or worse, look at the historical example of Cuba to North Korea. Once in power, the people's government often turns against the people. And let's look at our local elections. Let's talk about the school board. Okay, and I speak about the school board because I was very involved for a while there with the nonsense that's going on in the school board. Do you guys remember the last election? Okay, how they attacked Kelly Brent, how they tried to silence her, how they tried to cancel her business. Did you guys see that? how they would come out, the clown circles would come out in numbers, okay, to attack her and attack the conservative board, because God forbid that they were trying to implement something, a common sense policy. Because with socialism, you have no common sense. You guys saw it, and if you forgot, go see the videos. Okay, so yeah, they're going to try to silence you. Aren't we seeing that here in America? Look at Janelle Stelson attacking Scott Perry, gaslighting the community. Semantics. Aren't we seeing that in America? Cancel culture on steroids. Didn't we see that with Mrs. Brand? Okay, that they were trying to cancel everything that she did. So, if you want more historical background, study Cuba and North Korea. Let's continue. With socialism, erosion of national security and self-reliance. So it weakens economy. It already weakened economy cannot sustain strong defense. Dependency on government replaces personal responsibility. And it's sad to see how many people, especially the younger generation, are so quick to want to embrace the dependency on government and not have personal responsibility. So it increases the dependency on the government, replaces personal responsibility, making society vulnerable to both internal and external decay. If with socialism, it makes failed promises of equality. Oh, they'll promise you equality, but if they're not going to give it to you. Socialism claims to level the playing field, but create a new elite class of politicians and insiders. The poor and the middle class bear the brunt, while opportunity dries up. These aren't hypotheticals. They've played out time and again across the world. Why import these failures into our states and communities? Because that is what we're seeing, guys. Turn on the news. That's why we must be vigilant at the ballot box. And I've been saying that for a bit. In Pennsylvania's 88th district this year, voters have a stark choice between Sarah Agerton and Jeff Clark. We must support Jeff Clark for PA state representative. Jeff is a veteran law enforcement officer who stands with our police, our military, and the values that keep our community safe. So I've been, researching Jeff Clark, and I actually had various conversations with him, and he is a lovely, lovely person to meet. So this is what I'm going to read to you right now. This is what he stands for. First of all, he will be the representative for Hampton Township, Lower Allen Township, Mechanicsburg Borough, New Cumberland Borough, Shermanstown. I'm sorry, I'm not from here. Shermanstown Borough. Okay, so he will fight for controlling spending. State spending has increased almost 65% under two Democratic governors. Household income has not. Have you guys looked at your paychecks lately? He believes in reducing energy, gasoline, and grocery prices. He believes in protecting the family budgets and expanding opportunity for a brighter future. He is big on eliminating property tax because he's heard too much talk for many years and no actions. And we're also seeing a trend now that a lot of senior citizens are losing their homes to foreclosure. They're being forced out of their homes because they cannot afford the property tax. And here in Cumberland County, like I've been saying and will continue to say, a lot of these issues stems from the West Shore School District and the debt that they're in, that they're trying now to impose their debt on us. And it is happening. Have you taken a look at your tax bill? He's about ensuring public safety. He supports our first responders, police, firefighter, and EMTs, as he should, because our, first responders and police officers, especially the police, they take a lot of slack, a lot of disrespect, and they should be amongst the first, people respected in our community because they're actually putting down their lives for you. But we have too many ninnies, and also in the West Shore School District, the social and emotional learning programs and CRT, critical race theories. I think some of these surveys and some of these assignments that they give these kids, okay, and some of the books that they're reading that talks against the police. Okay, so we need to start, putting in candidates that are going to protect public safety. Okay. And also, they're going to encourage our community to give these people the respect and the support that they need. He believes in expanding Pennsylvania's energy. He would like to see Pennsylvania become a world leader in energy development, and hence that creates jobs. And he also believes in term limits, and so do I, because let me tell you guys, I am so sick and tired of seeing some of these people in Congress and Senate, in the White House. I mean, 96-year-old can't even put a sentence together, about to fall out of their chairs in these meetings. I mean, there has to be term limits. And not only that, but the term limits are also going to protect us from corruption in many ways. Okay. Because, after a while, you're buddies with this guy, that guy, and you are going to help them promote their agenda, whether for good or for evil. Hopefully for good, but that's not what we've been seeing these past couple of years. So the alternative is Sarah Agerton, whose values and goals seem to align with progressive socialism that will harm our community. Raising costs, expanding government control. She's big on government control, guys. She is big on government control. And prioritizing ideology over the needs of working families, seniors, and small businesses here in Cumberland County, specifically District 88. Socialism in political discourse is frequently associated with expanded government intervention in the economy, wealth redistribution. Let me say that again. Wealth redistribution, heavy regulation, and collective public control over key services like healthcare, housing, and education. So while Sarah Agerton describes herself as pragmatic and community-focused, not explicitly using socialist language, here are some of the main platform items that align with progressive policies that we must call it for what it is, are socialist policies. And you guys already know, listen, we already have a socialist in the school board, Adam Strong. And what is he doing? Attacking parental choice, but that's for a different podcast. But what I'm saying is, do we still need yet another to embrace yet another socialist? Because they'll say that they're Democrats. Okay, they will say that. They will say that they're bipartisan. They're neither. They will hide behind those banners. They'll hide behind the Democratic banner and the bipartisan banner, when in reality, all they are socialists. So these are some of the things that I found while researching her on her webpage. When it comes to healthcare, there's strong emphasis on lowering costs and expanding access. Keep in mind that term, expanding access, and prioritizing patients over profit. She draws from her career to argue that no one should choose between bills and care. Okay, and I do agree with that part, okay, if we put it in the correct perspective. However, expanding access, remember I told you to keep that word in mind, expanding access is via government action as a step toward the single payer or more socialized medicine models. Now look, I'm Puerto Rican, you guys all know it. Okay, I'm known in this community as the freaking Puerto Rican, which I wear as a badge. Now, being from Puerto Rico gives me certain insight. Okay, and that is that although Puerto Rico is part of the United States, so no guys, we're not immigrants, we are Americans. We don't need green cards, etc., etc. But getting back to the main point, being a Puerto Rican, I can tell you that in Puerto Rico they have a sort of socialized medicine. Okay, if you don't have private insurance, you go into like the socialized medicine system. Okay, and it is the worst. It is the worst. Ask any Puerto Rican that has family in the island, and they will confirm what I'm saying. In Puerto Rico, let's say you fell and broke your arm, and the doctor says that you need physical therapy. So you broke your arm today, right? You might not be seeing the physical therapist for your first appointment or your first consultation until 6 months later. Let's say you were diagnosed with cancer and you need a biopsy. You were diagnosed today, okay, and you need the biopsy to see if it's malignant or not, but you may not get that appointment until 6 to 8 months later, okay? That is socialism, my friend. Okay, they don't have enough doctors. The doctors have fled the system over there, come to the United States. Okay, they don't have enough doctors. They don't have updated machines like for MRIs and things, or you would have to go to a certain part of the country, certain cities that may have it. Okay, it is a disaster. It is a failing disaster, the healthcare. And I hope that the government in Puerto Rico, okay, along with our government, will start addressing the horrendous healthcare that there is in Puerto Rico. But don't go too far. You got Cuba. Everybody prays. Everybody gets free medical care in Cuba. Yeah. Yeah. But the medicine's 2 years old or expired. Okay. And they don't have access to the things that they need. So that's healthcare while being controlled by the government. And this is something that Sarah Agerton supports, government control healthcare. On education, she supports investing more in public schools, backing teachers, and ensuring high quality education regardless of your zip code. Sounds nice, right? Semantics. This includes greater state funding and resources, which leads to bigger government spending and centralized control rather than school choice or privatization. So parents, if you are for school choice and you believe that you should have a choice on whether you want your kids in the public school system or you want your kids in the private school or charter school, she's against that. She wants to take that right away from you because she wants everything to be done through the public school, and she wants the public school to be controlled even more by the government, and they're going to tell you how to raise your child. And if you disagree with something they say, do not think that CPS won't be calling you, because it will. That's what happens when the government's involved. When it comes to housing, so she's focused on the affordable housing crisis, expanding affordable options, and responsible, in quotes, responsible growth. As a local leader on housing issues, she pushes more for government involvement to address shortages. Again, government involvement. When the government's involved, they're controlling you. They're controlling where you live, where you don't live, what you do, what you get, what you don't get. When it comes to cost of living and wages, she's committed to lowering everyday expenses and supporting wages. So, in quotes, hard work pays off, not necessarily. This translates to backing minimum wage increases. And guys, let's be for real. If you drive up the minimum wage to $20, $25 an hour, oh, it sounds great. It sounds fancy, but that devalues the dollar. Okay. And a minimum wage jobs like McDonald's, Burger King, was meant for teenagers to get pocket money or money for stuff that they needed. It was never meant to, be lived on. So if you want a working wage, get the education that you need, or apply for companies that will give you that working wage and experience where you can move on, you can move up and move forward. Okay, so she supports the minimum wage increase, workers' protection, or government programs which are redistributive and anti-free enterprise. Sounds like communism to me. And she's big on the Green New Deal. She advocates practical, forward-looking solutions for clean air and sustainability and green jobs and all this green stuff. She is endorsed by green groups, and these are tied to environmental regulations and public investment, to socialist-style central planning that raises energy costs. Again, the government. So she's actually for you paying more for your energy, unlike Mr. Clark, that he's looking for ways to reduce. She has received endorsement from progressive and environmental groups, including, let me get it here, the Sierra Club and the Conservation Voters of PA. Now, guys, this isn't about party labels. What this is really about, and it should be about, is preserving the American dream for our kids and grandkids and rejecting socialism, period. We need to support candidates who defend liberty, fiscal responsibility, and opportunity. We are at risk. We are at risk of losing our country, and we all know it. So it's time that we start putting the correct people, the correct candidates in those seats that will protect our country, bring our country back, and make it safe and strong again. For these reasons, we, the people, Cumberland County, District 88, we're supporting this man. We're supporting Jeff Clark. Okay? Because he is the one that has your best interest and the best interest of your family and the future of this community in mind. As we stated, he is a decorated veteran. He had a respectable career with law enforcement. And at heart, because I've met him, at heart, this man is a public servant. He's about you. He's not about what can I get. He's about you. And like I stated before, he is about controlling spending, reducing energy, gas, and grocery prices. Because have you seen the price of eggs lately? I mean, like really, I'm going to be knocking on the doors of my friends that grow, that have chickens and they lay eggs. Not grow eggs, but chicken that lay eggs. I'm going to be knocking on your door soon because I need some eggs. Okay, so he's big on reducing grocery prices, eliminating property tax, especially for the senior citizens who are being displaced. Some of them, the houses are being foreclosed on because they can't pay the property tax. They can't afford the cost of living anymore. They're moving in with family. Yeah, this is what's happening, not only in America, but also in Cumberland County. He's about public safety, energy development, and term limits. So if you want to make a change and you want Cumberland County, District 88 to go in the right direction, you're not going to support Sarah Egerton. You're going to support this man here, Mr. Jeff Clark. So remember this November. And if you want to reach out to him because you have questions, or you want to do a meet and greet with him, or have a meet and greet with him, or having to participate in one of your meet and greets, or you want to interview him, reach out to Mr. Clark. And if you don't know how to reach out to him, reach out to the Boiling Point or reach out to me, because I definitely know how to reach him. Okay. And I am sure that he will be more than willing and happy, okay, to speak with you. And with that, I say it is time that the Cumberland County Republicans, it's time for us to unify. We need boots on the ground. United we stand, divided we fall. Okay, we need to reach everybody that we can, and we need to put out there in Spanish and English that this is our guy. And we need to work together and strive together, regardless of what our personal differences may be. Okay, to do what is right for this country, to bring this country back, to make it safe and make it strong. And the candidate that's going to do that is not Sarah Egerton. It's Mr. Jeff Clark. So this is Mariana from the Boiling Point. I am signing off. God bless you. Happy 4th of July. Enjoy your barbecues. And remember to give God, just show him gratitude, say thank you to God for the great nation that we have, because although everybody screams and cries and curses and talks about our country, everybody wants to be in our country. Isn't that obvious? So God bless. This is Mariana from the Boiling Point, signing off.
Trapped again, and fate as always has me wrapped again. I always get caught in my life of sin, but I just keep on going back again. I'm lost again, when all I wanted was to find a friend, someone that I can always depend on to help me find my life again.